So a lot of thoughts here. I'm going to go backwards from the question you guys just asked in terms of why are we seeing this now. So when he died, as they put in the article talking about this is from the New York Times yesterday, his people, like everyone from like his busboys to really close friends and everything, they kind of insisted they protected his legacy and their stories. They wouldn't talk to the press. Then last year, there were two documentaries, and some of them talked, and it kind of presented a more balance and his pain and et cetera, and that kind of worked. Well, this guy is now like, it's almost like, now it's the third iteration, right? It's like you make a cup of tea, it's strong the first time, the second time it's weaker. Now this is the third time. So this is like the third tea bag here, right? Or the third tea bagging. Yeah. Anyway, the article, part of it kind of disturbed me in that he said, well, you know, I didn't want to add to the kind of hagiography that we make of these stars. So I had a lot of people, they wouldn't talk to me, like all Tony's closest people. But that gave me opportunity because like the people he left behind then would talk to me. I'm like, oh, great. So you're going to get kind of like the bitter people.
Yeah.
But he also, you know, he was a public figure. And so we are going to write about them, and they are opening up and exploding a little bit more about what happened with Argento. And I have written quite a lot about this. I wrote about this in 2018. So what happened is they got together, they met on his show, they fell in love very kind of publicly as he was making one of the episodes.
I saw those clips, you can certainly tell.
He
happened
fell.
right away, yeah.
He fell, and this was, I guess, in 2015, 2016. And they were together, and then he was already separated from his wife, I believe, with whom he had a child, a daughter. They started seeing each other. She, in the meantime, became this kind of face of Me Too. She accused Harvey Weinstein in 2017. She became one of the big faces of Me Too. And Tony Bourdain, like, came out extremely publicly sticking. Like, yes, my woman, my this, my that. Meanwhile, there's this guy, Jimmy Bennett, who was a child actor. Asia Argento had directed him in The Heart is Deceitful Above All Things. It's a long story. I was involved in it. I interviewed them when he was 7 years old. Anyway, when he was 17, she slept with him. She was 37, he was 17. This is now happening.
I love her reaction.
This is happening while Asia Argento is the face of Me Too with Rose McGowan. Okay, so what happens? Jimmy Bennett's like, you got to pay me off. I want $3.5 million. Anthony Bourdain is out here defending my woman for being a victim. Meanwhile, under the table, he's giving Jimmy Bennett $380,000. Okay,
Yeah, Jimmy Bennett's a con man. The dude was 17. Every 17-year-old should be so lucky. There is a difference.
If Steve wants to find the post-coital shots of Asia Argento and Jimmy Bennett in bed in Southern California, when they fucked, they're there.
Really?
They took them together. They took their own selfies.
Why would you leave a paper trail?
And so you can see Jimmy is not looking very upset. In the meantime,
Of course he's not. Luckiest kid in the world.
Right. In the meantime, in the article, you find out, and I knew this, you know, Bourdain was supporting Argento and her two children and sometimes her friends, kind of shades of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yes.
And now he's getting, I guess, increasingly depressed. They're not getting along so well. She's pathologically jealous of the fact that he has an ex-wife who's still married to, but they're not together, and a daughter, searches his social media, screaming at him if he's in a picture with his daughter on Father's Day. Asia Argento is a fucking succubus, okay? In any case...
She really is.
No. She is. But meanwhile, she's a hero. She is the person that we should venerate as being the hero. There they are.
Wow.
He's 17, she's 37, whatever. I don't care so much about that. But I do care that later she's going to be the hero because she's being abused. Meanwhile, you know, with Harvey Weinstein,
crazy.
Yes, maybe their first encounter was not consensual. She slept with him for 10 years after that. So just, you know.
I forgot about that.
Okay. So in any case.
Interesting.
They're kind of separating. Bourdain is in love with her.
Sorted.
He's not, she's not, blah, 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 blah. They're kind of separate. He's increasingly depressed. She goes out with this guy and stays at the hotel where she and Bourdain used to stay, and then makes sure like the paparazzi sees her with her new guy. And Bourdain was very upset and distressed by this. And he's older than she is. He tries to write to her. He's like, you were careless with my heart. Yeah. And she's like, get the fuck off my nut, right? Now, look.
There's some stuff about her I like.
This is not to say everybody makes their own decisions, right? But to then he kills himself. And she comes out, he was my heart, he was my love, he was my life. And they're still trying to present her as a hero. I wrote about her in 2018, and I was like, this is not the person that should be the fucking figurehead of Me Too.
Right.
And people are like, that's because you're a rape apologist, Nancy. I'm like, really?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Well, then what is this going on? What is the paying off of this Jimmy Bennett? Why do you want her? Anyway, she's kind of faded. She's not really around anymore. She's kind of living in infamy.
We knew her for her act. Was she director to his acting?
Her father was the famous Italian horror director, something Argento. I don't remember his first name. She has directed some films.
Okay.
She's acted in some films. I don't really know her career, but she was kind of considered, very cool. She's very Italian. She's very beautiful. She's got the thing that, I smoke a lot and everything. She's...
If you wanted to play a little
hot,
nude
right?
for thought at home, it's a real easy Google search with her. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, is that right? You're gonna,
a lot of nude scenes.
A lot of
very Italian full frontal.
Her name just sounds like Asiago Sargento. She's just a bunch of cheeses.
That's that's all I think. I can't pronounce it correctly because of that. Yes.
Maybe that's what Bourdain really liked. She was
Anyway.
a snack.
He loved, the punk aspect, edgy, art house films type
is a little
lifestyle.
edgy, too. Like,
she
that
is,
makes sense.
She is everything that he would want.
And druggy and louche and,
yes.
these kind of citizens of the world. They're beautiful. They're wearing black leather and
Citizen of the
everything.
world.